What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fright School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. So in my last video, I talked about how on the long run, the PC gamer is actually the peasant. Now, it's a little tongue-in-cheek, but the idea is that the PC gamer actually spends less on their PC purchase if they use a budget build idea to start out their gaming PC build and factor in how much they would have been paying if they were on a console in terms of subscription costs, as well as the machine and also the cost of games being higher on console. So when you put it together, I came up with a little math equation that said about $800 to $900 what you're going to pay running that console for like 5 years. Whereas on the PC side, that $900 gives you a really solid build. It beats the current gen consoles, will beat the next generation of the refresh anyways within this particular paradigm, and you'll be fine. And when it's time, if you decide you want to go any higher, you already have a springboard to go off of. Since then, I've gotten some comments that have said, well, there are other things you have to consider when it comes to building your PC. One of my audience members also told me that they disagreed because most of the times you're not going to have, say, the console player buy their subscription up front. And to that I say, well, that's not what my video said. My video basically talked about the cost down the road. And they eventually came back and said, well, this is something that, you can't use in factoring this, which that makes no sense because that's exactly what my video was addressing. But if you really want to maybe say, okay, maybe VG, you're using the subscription cost as a crutch, let me introduce you to the $500 PC build. The price is a little higher as of now, but in the PC gaming space, this is a meme. This is always the challenge to try to build a $500 PC build. And the manufacturers, even though the prices change, and sometimes when Linus will do a video like he did 11 days ago, it's time to kill the PlayStation 5 where he made a $500 PC build, those prices went up. But those prices usually will still come down, and you can find something to build for $500. There's also the used market paradigm as well, which is something I would love to go into a little bit if I have any time. And there are ways, before you jump in and say used parts are bad, there are ways to buy used parts that are still under warranty so that you can still make sure that if something were to happen to that component, you can still be able to get a warranty RMA from the manufacturer who will send you a working unit that they guarantee. So I've done this twice, actually, man. God bless EVGA. And at the same time, why did you guys leave the GPU market? Because they had basically the best RMA process. Other manufacturers were basically having to keep up and streamline their process as well. So now they're all as good, if not in a sense, serving their, customers in this way or in this regard. But let's look at the other factors that I was told that would need to be considered when it comes to building a PC, and why you can't just basically say that the cost is just a flat fee of $500 in the $500 build category or $800. Some people have put some, things forward and says, well, you have to buy a monitor, a mouse, and a keyboard. These things are going to cost you money. Well, I agree with the second statement that these things are going to cost you money. I just don't agree with the first one that says you have to buy a monitor or a mouse or a keyboard. Most of you watching this video have a mouse and a keyboard already, or somebody who would give you one for free, or you have a Goodwill around you that's going to give you one for cheap, or somebody that's going to give you one for free, or that on Amazon you can buy one for very cheap, or you can go to Walmart and buy some for very cheap. This is not a cost that I think anybody should be talking about when they're building in the budget category, because you're probably looking at the guy that has the $300, $200, $100, $70 mechanical keyboard and thinking that you actually need that to play a video game. Now, those who also say you need a monitor, you have to realize that my very first build, I used an old TV for the longest time. That's when I started my Gamer Dad channel in 2016, and I was in the garage. I didn't have money for a monitor at all, so I used a TV. In fact, I used a TV even after the channel had grown up to many, many subscribers, and never bothered even buying a monitor until I got another job where I got a pay raise. It wasn't even from YouTube that I got the money to buy a monitor. It was because I got a different job that gave me a better opportunity. Very stressful job. It was in management, but that's how I basically got one. And that was a whole year later. And I think this is a sentiment that even some people here in the community share, because one of my other honest members said something. They said, in the comments, and I have to go ahead and read this to you. They said, people are usually going to have a TV. Oh, here's what they said. This person said there's no monitor or accessories with a PC budget. Console is just plug and play. PC is not. No operating system. Cost fallacy. Console is the cheaper entry points to gaming. Well, again, another misconception, because I tried to clear this up. I said neither is there a cost for a TV for a console factored in. You do know a PC can be used with a TV, right? Plus, many of these console players out here, including a very good friend of mine, tell me about how they spent $800, $1,000 on their OLED TVs. Am I right? Because we have the receipts, right? And again, like I said, it's preference. You're not doing anything wrong. It's just where you wish to play. But there are the console players that would say, well, I want to enjoy my console visually, so I'm going to spend way more money on this device. Even though, yes, you have multiple users, you can watch your movies on there. You can you can basically enjoy visuals from there. The same you can also do by plugging your PC into this particular device. Also, Windows is free. Believe it or not, you can download Windows, install it, and you don't have to pay a dime. The only thing you're going to see is a little thing that says activate Windows. Hey, if you go back to some of my videos, you'll see where I was using Windows on a free computer with the activate Windows on the bottom right. There ain't no shame in it. I think anybody who thinks they're bothered by it, well, maybe you want to go throw money just unnecessarily at Microsoft. It's not a problem. Linux also has many free versions as well. So operating system pushed aside. Also, somebody went ahead and said, well, you have to have people are usually not going to have a TV prior to console. A person will have a monitor, keyboard, a mouse, or speakers, or a controller before buying a PC. Huh? Do you have headphones? Huh? Do you have yourself, like I said, anything like a TV? If you do, you're fine. This is usually a misconception that a lot of people have. And they said this. They said, but also you're saying the PC is more affordable based on a 5-year difference. And our peasants, usually the ones that have $1,000 on hand for that immediate purchase. Well, again, there's the $500 build. No one is saying you have to have that much on hand. In fact, what I'm trying to even say, and this is the second level of the challenge, is you could basically just wait for a little bit and save a little bit more. It may take you longer, but hey, that's the difference between children and adults. In the child world, instant gratification is the currency. In the adult world, sacrifice and being able to push back gratification is what really makes adults separate from children for the most part. So this is also another conversation that we can probably have. But again, we're just going with what we have on hand. So people are saying, current gen may not be as powerful as, marketed, but there are console options that provide a more affordable option. It's not a more affordable option. It's marketed to be a more affordable option so that you don't see on the back end how they're going to collect the money. Are you trusting corporations to basically tell you that this is affordable for you, just as they told you that it was 4K 120 FPS on the box of that Xbox or 8K on the box of that PS5? I mean, come on now. We know that this is basically a sleight of hand. They're selling those devices at a loss. There's a reason they're selling them at a loss. And if people are worried about the finances, they'll usually purchase the game console on sale. Agreed. If you're worried about finances too on the PC side, like I said, you can also go into the sale market, or you can go into the used market where you can buy parts that have warranties available on the items. So again, I think what we're seeing here is a misconception from those who play on consoles. They think they understand the way PC market works, but little do they know that it's a very, very huge arena. Requires a lot of understanding, but once you can coalesce the understanding, you basically will be gunning to break free from a lot of what I think are the limitations of what console basically brings to you. Because again, this conversation, I started out with the fact that I saw people saying, or even making fun of console players, that, hey, console players how are they accepting 30 FPS? This was Asmongold's comment. And I said, well, Asmongold misses the fact that even PC players are going to be taking a 30 FPS if their rig is not on that, platform. But the thing is, they can decide to maybe wait and say, I'm not playing Dragon's Dogma now. I'll play other games. And then when I have a rig capable of, hitting the metrics that I want, I go ahead and I, upgrade and I play the game as much as I want. Or you play the game as is. It's one of those things where you can't have everything you want. At that point, we're not on YouTube anymore arguing about PC parts and console being the option that is affordable or least affordable, right? If we had the money, we wouldn't even be having this conversation, but we're having the conversation because there are people who are on the console side who wish to move to PC. And I'm trying to inform them as to the options that are available while at the same time defend them from the misconceptions, because there are a lot of these misconceptions. I mean, if you want, guys, I can show you a video and I can show you all the graphics cards that I have. They all have. And by the way, I've been doing production for years. So yes, over the years, I've been able to kind of like snipe gear from, you know, all kinds of different, you know, people who may be selling it, you know, used or cheap or at a discount, or maybe from using YouTube revenue because it's my business. So I'm not the regular gamer. However, seeing the way the prices have benefited me, even me who is not a regular gamer that is looking at the budget, I wonder why not the regular gamer leverage and take advantage of these prices and pretty much make the choice that they feel they want to make. So I'll show you. It has an HDMI port. Every GPU that's been made from the time I started building PCs in 2016 has a HDMI cable. And even when I go back to some, even from back in the day, they still have HDMI ports. And then you can use them and connect them to your TV. Unless you have a TV that doesn't have an HDMI port, then at that point, you probably, you know, need to buy a new TV at any rate, because HDMI has been a thing for at least, you know, some children who were born, some children right now that are teenagers, you know, were not alive when HDMI became a thing. So that's how long it's been a thing. So I would love to put these misconceptions to rest as much as I can. But again, they continue to come up, you know, and, you know, I keep getting a lot of these stuff. But at the same time, what I'm saying is this: enjoy where you play. But if you're looking to come to PC, dial in. I got you. I'll be on there hunting for prices. I know, you know, resources, YouTubers on the space that pretty much make it their bread and butter to inform, you know, people who are looking for stuff. There's a YouTuber he's a teacher like me. Well, he's a high school teacher. I'm no longer a high school teacher, but his name is Daniel Owen, and his job is to basically sit there and crunch the numbers in terms of FPS, what you should be paying. He's a math teacher, so his brain is on fire. Let me show you this gentleman over here. His brain is on fire. He can sit there and run some crazy numbers, and he can pretty much give you some good comparisons based on FPS and based on all kinds of parameters. And I think his channel is one of probably the most resourceful channels for people who are looking to basically figure out what it is they want to do in regard to getting into PC gaming, depending on your price point, your budget. And there are many, many, many like him as well. So this is a resource, you know, in my opinion, a resource, you know, nexus that you can just come in, get the information that you want. And if you want to stay on console, that's fine. I'm not... Like, enjoy where you play on. Most of my friends are on console. I don't really have too many friends that play on PC. There are actually few of us that play on PC that are part of the Video Game Fight School channel and my other channel. And even some of my friends that have PCs, you know, they still don't play on the PC. They play on consoles as well because they just prefer it. It's just a preference. But some people are looking at future-proofing. They're looking at all kinds of different things, getting into the technology because their interest is there, maybe even saving money along the way. You know, it's all a matter of choice. But let's dispel the notion that it is unreachable or untenable. It's not. That is a misconception at the highest order. And that's what I'm trying to bring to light in my videos. So thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you guys so much. Hopefully we'll talk pretty soon in another one. Peace out.